At the start of the drama, we see a handsome mermaid in the sea. Its name is Ziyi. He goes to his mermaid brothers, who give him clothes and shoes. Then he asks them where Joshua is. To this, they say that he is waiting for him. The four handsome mermaids go to meet Joshua. They reach near Joshua, where he tells them that finally, before becoming a bubble, he could see them. Ziyi says, "Why did you risk your life because of a girl?" To this, he says that he couldn't stop himself. Then another mermaid says that nowadays, the human divorce rate has increased significantly, and dating a girl is danger. To this, he says that he knows, but now it is too late. Saying this, he bid farewell to everyone and says to take care of themselves and then never fall for a girl. The four turn back and pray while Joshua disappears, turning into a bubble. Then the four ask each other where they will go now. To this, one says that they need to find a new sea, as this sea is no longer livable, and even Uncle has come to know about this. Just then, Uncle comes running toward them, and seeing him, they run away. The next scene shows a party where our female lead, Mian, congratulates her boyfriend Song for promotion. To this, he says that he will also get the Sunset Beach project, and Miss Ba will promote him again. Just then, Miss Ba arrives. Mian thanks her, to which Miss Ba says that she should be thanking them because she agreed to sell her home. To this, Mian says that there has been some misunderstanding. "I'm not selling that home," and leaves. Miss Ba looks at Song, and Song runs after her. Miss Ba becomes furious. Song goes to Mian, where she tells him that he knows how important that home is to her, and she will not sell it. Saying this, she leaves. Just then, Miss Ba arrives, and Song explains everything to her. He tells that he is going to propose to Mian for marriage soon, and once she marries him, her property will also be his. To this, Miss Ba says that she is giving him only 10 days. Here, Uncle catches Ziyi and tells him that he is a mermaid prince, and running away like this is not right. You have to get married and have children. You have to become a role model. Ziyi says, "Uncle, let me go. I don't want to get married." He asks his brothers for help, upon which all the brothers catch the uncle, and he runs away from there. In the next scene, we see Mian sitting by a sea, looking at her locket, but her locket falls into the water. In trying to grab the locket, she also falls into the water. In that same water, our hero Ziyi is also present. Seeing Mian, he starts running away, but Mian, struggling to breathe underwater, forcefully grabs and kisses him. While kissing, Ziyi's pearl transfers into Mian. The three brothers, including Uncle, was sitting somewhere. One of them says that Uncle is absolutely right and Ziyi should get married now because his time has come. But the other says that he doesn't think Ziyi will ever be able to get a girlfriend. The middle one asks why he can't have a girlfriend, to which the second brother replies that Ziyi has gynophobia and is afraid of girls. The middle one says that in that case, he will never be able to have a girlfriend. The first mermaid slaps him and tells him to shut up. The second mermaid says that anyway, how will he make a girlfriend? He has neither a house nor a car, nor is he a graduate from a good university. Just then, Uncle says not to worry as he earned a lot of money for them while living among humans. Suddenly, all three mermaids' bracelets shine together. Seeing this, they say that Ziyi is in danger. The scene shifts to Mian, who is lying unconscious on the beach. Song runs toward her, picks her up, and asks if she's injured. He tells her how scared he was. Mian asks where she is, and he says she's at the seaside. He then takes her home. Meanwhile, our handsome and cute mermaid prince is still helplessly lying in the water. Later, Mian is sleeping and dreaming about the same incident from the sea. She wakes up scared and goes to drink water. Suddenly, she notices someone approaching. Quickly, she grabs a rod and asks, "Who is it?" But it turns out to be none other than Ziyi. Seeing him, Mian says, "Who are you? Don't you know that I have a guest at my home who is a gym trainer and weighs more than 100 kilograms? But he falls down. Mian comes near him and he asks her to help him, saying, "I need water." He empties many bottles. He asks Mian for more water, so she prepares a drink and brings it to him, saying, "You'll have to pay me for all this." She gives him the drink, but when he tries to open it with his mouth, Mia takes it back and says, "This is how you open it." But when he drinks it, he finds the drink disgusting. She tells him, "Look, do you know my house has cameras installed? So don't try anything clever." Just then, he notices the fish tank water. He rushes to drink it, but Mayan stops him and says, "This is fish tank water. Don't drink it." He replies, "Why? If fish can drink this water, why can't I?" Mayan quickly stops him and says, "Wait a minute, I'll get you more water." Later, when he was comfortably drinking water, Mayan tells him, "Look, I don't want anything from you. Just drink this water and get out of here." But he says, "I won't leave." Mayan asks, "What do you mean? Why won't you leave? If you don't go, I'll call the police and get you arrested." He replies, "First, return my pearl." She asks, "What pearl?" "My pearl is with you." Mayan shows her pocket and says, "I don't have your pearl." He looks toward her stomach. She slaps him hard and calls him pervert. She takes him inside and says, "If you can't prove that you're a fish, I'll call the police and have you arrested." He jumps into the water and says, "Tell me, how's my true form?" Seeing this, Mayan faints and falls into his arms. Later, she looks at him and says, "You saved me that day, today too." He replies, "My pearl is inside your stomach. Give it back quickly, or both of our lives will be in danger." Just then, Song knocks on the door of her house. She starts to leave and says, "Don't come out, that's my boyfriend." She goes outside and opens the door. Mayan tells Song, "Come tomorrow. I'm busy with some urgent work today." He replies, "No, I have more urgent work than you." He quickly enters inside and proposes to Mayan, saying, "You are the girl I fell in love with at first sight, and now I want to marry you." Just then, Ziyi arrives and says, "I don't agree." Song asks, "Who is this?" Ziyi tells, "I'm Mayan's boyfriend, and now she is my woman." Song asks, "Do you have an affair somewhere else?" She replies, "No, I'll explain everything to you later." Song says, "No problem. Even if you have an affair, I love you a lot and I'll forgive you. But tell me, am I still your boyfriend?" She says, "Yes." He then says, "Throw him out of the house immediately. You need to decide right now who will stay in this house." Mayan says, "Fine," and throws Song out of the house, saying she'll explain everything later. Ziyi says, "Why did you make him your boyfriend when he doesn't even love you?" She replies, "That's none of your business." In the next scene, Mayan is shown vomiting in the washroom. When she comes out, she says the pearl is not coming out. Next, they bring a drink. Ziyi asks her, "Can you drink this?" She replies, "I have to drink it." She drinks it, but after drinking it, her stomach gets upset. She goes to the washroom and then comes out. There, Ziyi is standing with gloves and a mask. He goes inside the washroom, comes out and says, "I didn't find the pearl." Then she starts vomiting again. Ziyi runs inside and says, "Let me go first." They keep rushing in and out of the washroom. Later, both sit down exhausted. Mayan says, "Your pearl is very rude. Why it's not coming out?" He replies, "Maybe we haven't found the right method." Suddenly, both remember that the pearl was transferred through a kiss. They move away from each other and refuse to speak. Mayan says, "I can't kiss because I already have a boyfriend." Ziyi says, "I won't kiss either because I'm scared of her." He tries to leave, but Mayan follows him and says, "You told Song that I'm your woman." He replies, "I said that because I was afraid he would take my pearl. Until I get my pearl back, both of us have to stay together. Otherwise, our lives could be in danger." The next day, Song goes to Misbah's office. Misbah asks him, "Have you convinced her?" To which he replies, "No, I need some more time." She says, "I've already given you so much time, and you still can't complete such a small task. I gave you 3 months, and now I'll only give you 10 more days. Don't expect anything more from me." In the next scene, we see Mayan talking to her employee at the homestay restaurant. Mayan asks her to reconsider quitting, but the employee says, "No, I can't continue this anymore. The financial manager here is the same person who does the cleaning, and even the receptionist is the same person. And you haven't paid me my salary for months. My advice to you is to shut this homestay down because you've been running at a loss for a long time." After saying this, the employee leaves. Meanwhile, Ziyi is drinking water and starts choking. Mayan scolds him, saying, "You're a fish, and yet you're choking? Idiot!" Ziyi replies, "You're the idiot for continuing this homestay despite all the losses." Mayan glares at him angrily and says, "I told you to clean, didn't I?" At that moment, a boy named Nam arrives. Mayan tells Nam to post the missing posters again because she still believes her brother will return one day. Nam says, "It's been 10 years. If he was going to return, He would have come back by now. After Nam leaves, Ziyi asks Mian, "Did your brother run away?" Mian replies, "No, he didn't run away. He went missing. This homestay holds memories of him, and that's why I don't want to sell it." Ziyi sarcastically says, "You humans are so strange. All you do is run after houses and money. Look at us mermaids. We don't worry about houses or earning money. Wherever our heart feels like staying, we stay." Mian glares at him angrily. Ziyi suddenly remembers and says, "Oh yeah, I was supposed to clean." In the next scene, Mian is making Ziyi clean the place like a servant. He is wiping down tables when two girls arrive and say, "Hi, does this handsome guy work here?" One of them says, "We should go somewhere else." But the other insists, "Forget about anywhere else. We'll stay right here in this handsome guy's restaurant." They approach Ziyi, who becomes nervous upon seeing them. And he hurriedly runs towards Mian and says, "Save me from these women." The girls approach and ask, "Does this guy work here? If he does, we want to stay at your homestay." Mian's mischievous mind comes up with an idea. She makes the poor guy stand at the entrance for advertising purposes. The girls start taking selfies with him there. Meanwhile, three brothers arrive at the scene and secretly observe this. One of them says, "Why does that look like Ziyi?" Another says, "It can't be Ziyi." The third says, "It looks exactly like him." Then all three together exclaim, "Oh my God, it is Ziyi." They say that someone must have kidnapped him and decide they must rescue their brother. The three brothers intervene, pulling Ziyi away from the girls and takes him with them. Mian chases after them while Ziyi says, "I can't come with you guys." But they tell him, "Stay quiet and come with us." Ziyi then says, "Wait, my pearl is still here. I can't leave because of it." Hearing this, they all stop running. Later, Mian is scolding all of them. Ziyi offers her some water and says, "We're not bad fish. We're sweet and lovely mermaids." Mian replies, "Look, I'm not going to let them stay here." One of the brothers says, "Sister-in-law, please let us stay for just one day." Ziyi also says, "These people don't have anyone besides me. Please let them stay here." In a cute way, Ziyi starts pleading with Mian and says, "They're homeless. Please show some mercy and let them stay here." Finally, Mian agrees and says, "Fine, but I'm not your sister-in-law." The brothers are overjoyed. Later, the four brothers are happily swaying their tails in the water. However, Ziyi says that without his pearl, he cannot return. He looks at one of his brothers who says, "Don't look at me. I'm not going to sit on Ziyi's throne." He looks at the second brother who says, "I'm not smart enough to sit on the throne." He then looks at the third brother who says, "Don't even think about looking at me." Ziyi wonders how he will get his pearl back. One of the brothers asks, "How did your pearl get transferred to the girl?" Ziyi replies, "That's not important right now. What matters is how to get it back." At that moment, Mian arrives and scolds them, saying, "You're all enjoying yourselves here. What if someone sees your tails? It will be a disaster. Go quickly and sleep." While walking away, she thinks, "I need to get rid of these four as soon as possible." Later, one brother comes up with an idea and says, "Let's kill her." All four grab knives, enter her room, and say, "You always say to do your work yourself, so now you do it yourself." They start passing the knife to one another nervously. Suddenly, Mian wakes up and grabs the knife, asks, "Tell me, what do I need to do?" In the next scene, Mian makes all four brothers turned around. She asks, "What were you doing in my room with knives?" The brothers, scared, replies, "You misunderstood." But she points the knife at them, and one brother accidentally admits, "We wanted to kill you to get the pearl back." Mian responds, "Oh, so you want to kill me to get your pearl back?" She locks the four brothers in a room, shouting, "Sister-in-law, please open the door. Let us out. We promise we won't try this again." However, the door doesn't open. One of the brothers says, "We can't kill her for the pearl. Do you guys have another idea?" Another says, "Exactly. Let's figure out how the pearl transfer happened." Ziyi confesses how the pearl transfer occurred. Shocked, the brothers exclaim, "You lost your first kiss." Ziyi argues, "It was CPR." But the brothers respond, "There's no CPR for mermaids. That was your first kiss." They tell Ziyi, "You'll have to kiss her again to get your pearl back." Ziyi refuses, saying, "No way, I'm not doing that." One brother asks, "Don't you want your pearl back?" Ziyi reluctantly admits, "Of course I do." In the next scene, we see Mian's homestay restaurant. A man deliberately mixes something into his food and causes a scene. He claims, "This food is awful. I'll file a lawsuit." He creates a big mess. The four brothers burst into the restaurant, breaking the door. Myeon says, "This man has no money, and there's nothing wrong with the food." Song also reached there and says, "This is my fiancé." Mermaid Brothers wonders hearing that. Song suggests, "I will manage this. It's better to sign the agreement and sell the homestay. Otherwise, this man will shut it down." Myeon refused to sell. Ziyi offers to pay the man. The others cheer, "Wow, our brother is so rich." Suddenly, the bag the man was carrying falls, revealing the thing he had secretly added to the food. The man panics, picks up his bag, and runs away in fear. Later, one of the brothers tells Myeon that he has something to show her. He shows her that the same man who had caused trouble at their homestay restaurant is now demanding money from Song. The man tells Song, "You need to pay me for the risk I took causing all that chaos." Myeon then approaches Song and asks what happened. He says he will explain everything, but Myeon cuts him off and says, "I'm telling you again, I won't sell the homestay. I'm breaking up with you because of this." Song, confused, says, "Are you breaking up with me because of this rich guy?" Just then, Ziyi's brothers enter the scene, commenting, "Bro, sister-in-law, is there any problem?" Song gets annoyed and responds, "What's this brother and sister-in-law stuff? What a family." He leaves, saying, "I'll deal with all of you later." After he leaves, Myeon says, "I've told you so many times not to call me sister-in-law." She storms off and the brothers comment among themselves, "What did she say? We didn't catch that." In the next scene, one of the brothers is reading a book, another is busy drinking water, and the other two are playing rock, paper, scissors. Myeon enters the room and tells them, "You guys are just having fun while I'm working. When I come back, the place better be cleaned up." The four brothers immediately start picking up the bottles they've scattered around the room. One of the brothers asks, "Why is she so angry?" Another brother answers, "Maybe it's because she broke up with him. That's why she's so upset." Ziyi then says, "By the way, Song was really a bad guy. His choices were terrible." Another brother chimes in, "But why is she taking her anger out on us?" They all agree that they'll have to go through it together if they want to get their pearl back. Later, the mischievous brothers come up with an idea. After discussing it, Ziyi wonders aloud if she really wants to go through with it. She then says, "Well, what's wrong with it? You have to work at the restaurant." She laughs and says, "Girls like handsome guys, right? So if they work in my restaurant, the girls will be attracted to them and flock to my restaurant." She then adds, "She'll end up spending all her money on water and go broke. Now I can make a profit through you." Then one brother asks, "Why don't you ask Ziyi to do the job?" Myeon says, "Because he is afraid of girls." Myeon says, teasing them, "You all are rich, right? If you can't work, then pay me the rent." They say they were just joking. "Then get ready to work in my restaurant." After she leave, one brother says, "Do we really have to do this?" Another brother says, "Where do these terrible ideas come from?" The third says, "Now can I say that our lives are completely ruined?" But the third one says, "We have to agree to everything she says, and now we also have to agree to this." All the brothers are in the restaurant, where one brother is serving coffee with a girl, another brother is playing with two girls, and the third is feeding a girl cake with his own hands. Meanwhile, Ziyi and Myeon watching this. Here, two men come to Misbah and inform her that Myeon hired 4 boys in their restaurant who are attracting a lot of young girls, and their restaurant is now doing very well. Upon hearing this, Misbah becomes very angry. Here in the restaurant, one of the brothers comes and says that a customer is ordering grape yogurt. He asks if she knows how to make it, to which she denies. Myeon says that she brings it from outside. She goes to get that from outside, but the goons sent by Misbah try to kidnap her. When they try to kidnap her, suddenly Ziyi feels pain. He understands that the pearl is in danger. He runs outside but ends up getting kidnapped himself. The goons throw them into a place where Misbah comes and asks why they kidnapped the boy. They say that the boy saw them kidnapping the girl, so they had to take him as well. Misbah sees Ziyi's bracelet and understands he is a mermaid, which reveals that she knows a lot about the mermaid. She checks for the pearl in Ziyi's body, but can't find it. Later, she finds that it's in Myeon's body. She tells her men to release them, but not let them go easily. After some time, they both get up, somehow free each other's hands, and escape. But Misbah's men attack them, and in trying to save Myeon, the knife hits Ziyi. His condition gets worse, and Myeon says she will take him to the hospital, but he refuses and says he wants to go somewhere with a lot of water. They leave, and the knife is shown to be the same one used by the men to attack them. As they leave, Misbah watches them and says, "I hope you both fall in love with each other soon." Myeon takes him to the bath center and says to him, "Please get well soon, or where will I find a fish who makes coffee like you?" He replies, nothing will happen. Then he asks her, will you do me a favor? She says, yes, tell me. He says, can you let me stay here and give me water for free? She says, even in this situation, you are worried about water. Then she agrees and says, all right, I'll make your water free, but only until I become bankrupt. Mayun becomes shocked after seeing the bill. Just then, Ziyi's brothers arrives and asks, what are you doing here? Ziyi explains, I was kidnapped, and she brought me here for healing. His brothers quickly start checking him, asking, are you okay? Are you hurt anywhere? Then the receptionist asks, who will pay the bill? Mian says, I will. Then she asks, can't you give me a discount on this? He refuses. Ziyi takes his brother aside and says, you're my best brother, right? To this, his brother replies, yes, I am, and I love you very much. I can do anything for you. Then he says, all right. He pinches him hard and tears start rolling down. These tears turn into pearl. Mayun asks, where did you get this pearl from? You said you didn't have any money. Ziyi replies, this is a tear of my brother Zesi. In the next scene, they are all sitting and eating together. Ziyi's brothers give him all the food. Mian also give her food. She asks Ziyi, can your tears also turn into pearls? He replies, no, I never cried, so I don't know if my tears can turn into pearls. Later, Mian shows him what is happening on her body, to which he says, this is probably a side effect of the pearl. She asks, now what? Am I going to turn into a fish? He replies, the pearl is affecting your body, so we must remove it from your body quickly. Hearing this, Mian says, then what should we do now? He replies, we have to do the same thing as when the pearl entered you. Mian says, then why are we waiting? I won't hesitate this time. Saying this, she quickly kisses him. Meanwhile, Ziyi's brothers, who are standing outside, are worried thinking Mian might harm their brother. They break the door and enter, only to see the two kissing. Covering their eyes in shock, they quickly run outside. Ziyi says, it's not what you're thinking. His brothers ask, did you feel anything like your pearl is returning? He replies, no, I felt very uncomfortable while kissing and I completely forgot about it. Saying this, he blushes a lot. His brothers ask, how could you forget about the fins? Are you not serious? They send Ziyi to Mian's room to kiss again. They apologize and say, you both carry on. We disturbed you. Sorry. Mian says, let's try again. And they kiss again. But this time too, the pearls didn't return. They go back into the water and kiss again. But still, the pearls don't return. Later, when the four mermaids are sitting together, they ask him, so tell us, did you get your pearl back? He says, no, we've tried everything, but the pearl is not coming back. Next day, the four are wandering around the homestay. That's when Uncle arrives, pulls them aside and says, I've found a girl for you. Saying this, he calls out to a girl named Momo, saying, she's very suitable for you. Then he adds, and one more thing, she's very healthy and can give birth to many mermaids. Ziyi responds, Uncle, how many times do I have to tell you that I don't want to get married right now? Uncle replies, you can't run away from your responsibilities like this. You're a role model for all the other mermaids, so you must get married. Uncle asks them if they are rejecting Momo because of Mian. So Ziyi tells him my pearl is inside her, that's why I wanted to stay here. Uncle gets shocked after hearing this and asks, how did your pearl transfer to her to this one brother showing the action of kissing? Uncle scolds Ziyi, saying you should be ashamed of all these. You did everything before marriage. Then Uncle asks, by the way, what color is your pearl? Ziyi replies blue. Uncle says, that means you both are not in love, because if you were, your pearl would have turned red. In the next scene, the uncle goes to Momo and apologizes, saying, I wanted to get you married to Ziyi, but he already has a girlfriend. To this, Momo says, it's okay, don't worry about it because I am already sad. Then she adds, this is not easy for me, so I want to stay here. After that, she goes to Mian and says, I need a room here. Mian clearly refuses, saying there is no room here. At that moment, Ziyi's brother asks, why are you lying? There is a room here. To this, Mian says, I said there's no room here, which means there isn't. Then she walks away. Ziyi's brother says, no problem, there's a room here, I'll give it to you. He hands over the key and shows her the direction to the room. Just then, the uncle arrives, and he calls Uncle over, saying, Uncle, please pay the bill. The uncle asks, I have to pay? To this, brother replies, yes, you have to pay because here, nothing happens without money. We even have to pay for drinking water and staying here. Then they narrate their sad story to the uncle and say, "If we don't get water, you know our skin will dry out, so please pay the bill." By saying this, they completely exploit the uncle. Meanwhile, Ziyi was cleaning outside. Momo brings water to him, but he says, "I don't want water." However, Momo starts chasing him and says, "I want to help you." He replies, "If you really want to help, then start mopping here." He puts the poor girl to work cleaning and leaves from there. In the next scene, the uncle comes to Mian and asks, "Are you planning to have kids?" Shocked, she asks, "What did you say?" The uncle replies, "Yes, you should start thinking about it soon, because it's your responsibilities and duty." She responds, "I am not a mermaid, and I am keeping all of them here because I have to return their pearl." Meanwhile, Song comes to Misbah's office and asks, "Give me 10 more days," but she refuses. Then he says, "All right, give me 5 days," but she says, "I've fired you from the job, so get out of here quickly." She kicks him out of there, and he warns her, "You'll regret this." Ziyi brings soup for Mian, and seeing it, Momo says, "This is my favorite," but he pays no attention to her words. Then he gives a cute cat to Mian. Momo says, "I like this very much," and she tries to pick it up, but Mian picks it up before she can. Later, the four of them was sitting with Uncle. He starts saying Mian is not gentle, not cute, and not capable enough, but Momo is better than her. However, one of Ziyi's brothers says, "Mian is not a bad person," but Uncle is bad-mouthing Mian entirely. Ziyi says, "Don't speak like that, because I am with her and I need my pearl." But Uncle says, "When you get your pearl, I'll find another good girl like Momo for you." At the same time, when Mian is outside the homestay, she runs into Misbah. When she sees Misbah, she says, "I have some works in my homestay, so I'm leaving." Saying this, she starts to walk away. After she leaves, Misbah thinks, "Why has her pearl not turned red yet? Are these two not in love with each other?" Mian comes inside the restaurant and announces to everyone, "I have good news. A community homestay competition is going to be held in our city, and I am also participating in this competition. You all have to help me, so start preparing." One says, "All right, I'll go and sweep outside." Another says, "I'll start cleaning the tables." They all start to leave for works. As Ziyi starts to leave, Uncle says, "Ziyi, you're the mermaid prince. Are you going to clean the tables?" Ziyi replies, "If you feel so much sympathy for me, then here you go. You can clean the tables for me." Saying this, he sits back down to drink water. Just then, Misbah arrives and says, "When you bumped into me, your keys fell right there, so I've come to return your keys." After giving her the keys back, she starts to leave. But then, she accidentally bumps into Jism, one of the mermaid prince. And when she bumps into Jism, the bracelet in Jism's hand starts glowing. Jism asks her, "Are you a mermaid?" In the next scene, everyone, including Misbah, is sitting together. They all ask Uncle, "Are there female mermaids too?" Uncle replies, "I don't know. Maybe there are because usually mermaids only give birth to male mermaids." Then one brother asks Misbah, "If you are a mermaid, then why don't you stay in the sea?" Misbah replies, "Because I can't breathe underwater." Ziyi says, "How sad, but now you don't need to feel alone. Consider us your family and stay with us." Then one brother says, "Yes, you can consider this house your home." Just then, Mian says from behind, "Your home? You're calling my house your home?" Everyone says, "Misbah is very sad because she's been living without her mermaid family for so long. Please let her stay. We'll double the rent for you." Mian stands up and says, "Fine, but I'll charge triple the rent." Hearing this, all the mermaids become very happy. In the next scene, Momo comes to Ziyi and says, "Here, I shopped this for you." She grabs a shirt and runs after him, but Ziyi is a man who is afraid of females. He starts running away from Momo. Momo, however, doesn't stop chasing him. Ziyi says to her, "Stop, give me the shirt. I'll wear it myself and show you." He puts on the shirt and comes out. Momo says, "You haven't properly buttoned it. Let me do it." Ziyi runs away from there. As he's running downstairs, Mian bumps into him and says, "This is not your sea to wander around carefree." She scolds him and then walks away. But then she thinks about something and comes back to button his shirt. In the next scene, Misbah brings gifts for everyone and distributes them to all the mermaids. She then asks Jism, "Won't you take anything?" Jism says, "No, I don't want anything." But even then, Misbah gives him a gift. Later, she brings a perfume to Myeon and says, "This perfume is for you." Myeon replies, "I don't use perfume because I'm allergic to it." Saying this, she leaves. In the next scene, Myeon and Yi washing clothes and Momo comes there. She says to Myeon, "You work too much. Don't you think you should take some rest?" Myeon smiles and walks away. Zi, who finds other girls very intimidating, considers Myeon his safe zone, so he follows her. Meanwhile, Misbah comes to Momo and asks her to come along. She makes Momo clean the pool. Momo asks Misbah, "Will doing this impress Zi?" Misbah replies, "Yes, of course. He loves to take bath. If you clean the pool properly, he will definitely think about you whenever bath's here." Misbah makes something in the water Momo is using to clean the pool. Actually, Misbah does this because she wants Zi and Myeon to fall in love quickly so that their pearls become red. But Momo comes between them, so Misbah wants her to get sick quickly. Later, Myeon asks the four brothers, "Where is Momo?" Zi tells her, "Actually, Momo's health has deteriorated because she had an allergy. Uncle took her to her tomb." Myeon asks them, "Is there anything serious?" To this, one of the brothers says, "She got an allergy, but she will recover soon." Then Zi asks her, "You always said you hate Momo, so why are you so concerned about her?" Myeon replies, "Who said I hate her? I don't hate her at all." She then says to everyone, "You all are eating alone without me. Where is my food? I am hungry too." Misbah brings food to her, but Myeon says, "I am not hungry." Saying this, she walks away. Zi asks her, "Why do you hate Misbah so much?" To this, Myeon replies, "Misbah and my ex-boyfriend tried to trick me to taking away her homestay." Zihar, one of the brothers, says, "You are overthinking. Misbah is not like that. She is a good mermaid." Myeon replies, "You don't understand. Try putting yourself in my place, and then you'll know what this homestay means to me. Misbah wanted to take it away from me." Angrily, she starts leaving, but Z suddenly faints and falls down. Myeon runs to him, and everyone sits him in the water. Myeon is taking great care of him and looking very worried. She asks, "What happened to him?" Zihar says, "Maybe he's feeling weak because his pearl has been outside his body for too long." Jism signals Zihar to stay silent because Misbah is standing nearby. Zihar then says, "She is also a mermaid and part of our family. We shouldn't hide this from her." So Zihar tells Misbah that Zi doesn't have his pearl anymore. Misbah, who already knows everything, pretends not to and asks, "What happened?" Then she thinks for a moment and says she might have a solution to extract the pearl from Myeon. But they tell her, "There's no point in trying. We've already tried everything, but the pearl didn't come out." Later, Jism is reading a book to find a solution for extracting the pearl, but some pages are missing. Misbah brings those missing pages to him. Jism asks, "How did you get these pages?" Misbah replies, "My father gave them to me." Jism reads the pages and finally finds a solution to remove the pearl from the body. In the next scene, he gathers everyone and says, "To remove the pearl, Myeon and Zi need to truly fall in love and share a genuine kiss. Only then the pearl come out." Zi says, "No, I don't want to love anyone, nor do I want to marry anyone." Zihar says, "Don't talk nonsense, you'll have to do this. Otherwise, you'll be lost without the pearl." Zihar adds, "It's not like you need to fall in love with Myeon forever. You just need to truly love her for this moment, and when she kisses you, you'll get your pearl back." Zi reluctantly agrees and says, "Fine, I'll think about it." Myeon says, "What are you thinking? I'm not going to fall in love with you anyway." Zi replies, "Why are you thinking so much? When you broke up with Song, you didn't think this much. Why now?" Myeon says, "I broke up with Song because he wanted to take away my homestay." Then she remembers something and says, "Speaking of Song, Misbah, why did you want my homestay? Are you still trying to take it away?" Misbah says, "I wanted to buy your homestay because I found out that some mermaids live near it. I just wanted to meet those mermaids. Now that I've met them, I don't need your homestay anymore." Myeon says, "Really? Is that true?" All the brothers say, "Yes, she's telling the truth. We believe her." Myeon leaves from there. After Mia goes to her room, Zi's brother asks him, "You look very tired, don't you?" He replies, "No, I am not tired." But he insists, "No, you are tired. Look how exhausted you are." Saying this, they pick him up and they go to Myeon's room. They starts knocking the door. When the door is opened, they throws him into the room and locks the door from the outside. Then Misbah suggests, now cut the power to their room too, so that in the darkness they will get scared and come closer to each other. Zahir says, mermaids are very afraid of cats, so we will release a cat into their room so that they come even closer to each other. Misbah agrees and says, okay, now I'll leave. You handle the rest yourself. While leaving, she is talking to someone on the phone and someone is following her. She realizes it's Jism when she turns around. He tries to hide. She approaches him and says, so you were following me, right? He replies, it's quite late, and since you were going home alone, I was following you. Misbah says, all right, let's go have some coffee. Then they reach a restaurant where Jism, out of curiosity, asks her, are you really a mermaid? Misbah responds, yes, absolutely. I am a mermaid. Hearing this, Jism says, then you must have a tail too. Misbah replies, yes, I have a tail as well. Can I see your tail? Misbah replies, okay, then come to my house. At this point, Jism starts feeling a bit uncomfortable. Misbah says, I was just joking. What I meant was that our tail only gets visible when we are in water. Here, when the power goes out, Zee gets extremely scared. Although Mian is frightened, she starts looking for a candle to light. At that moment, Zee grabs her leg. She says, leave my leg so I can search for the candle and light it. She notices that Zee is not letting go of her leg at all. So she drags him while searching for the candle and finally lights it. The Devil brothers come there, holding a cat, and say, even if we're scared, we have to do this for our brother so that he and Mian can fall in love with each other. Saying this, they leave the cat in Mian's room. The cat's meowing scares both of them so much that they end up hugging each other tightly. Zee says, I know I am scared of cats since I am a mermaid, but why are you so scared? Mian replies, I don't even know. I used to find cats so cute, but now I don't know why I'm so scared. Am I also going to turn into a fish? Hearing this, they both start panicking even more. They shout, please let us out of the room. We promise that we will try to fall in love with each other. And from tomorrow, we'll even start dating. Later, Song sees Jism and Misbah leaving restaurant together. Watching them, he says, oh, so this is what's going on. Song thinks you've betrayed me many times. Now see what I'll do to you. In the next scene, all of them are sitting together, where one brother says, you two should go on a date tomorrow and should watch a romantic movie together. Zee says a movie, a romantic one. And Mian says, a movie theater means darkness. We'll have to sit in the dark for 2 hours? Impossible. Then another brother suggests, why don't you both go to a public aquarium to watch a dolphin performance? To which Zee says, that's completely boring too. They say, why don't you both go to a playground and spend a good time there? Zee responds, those first 2 options were better than this. He tells his brothers, you guys are giving very boring suggestions. Even though I have no experience, just watch how I shock you all with my dating skills. Then he says to Mian, be ready to go crazy in love with me. Later, we see Misbah reading the missing page from the Mermaid book. It states that to preserve the existence of mermaids, they always give birth to male mermaids. Every 5,000 years, only 5 female mermaids are born. These female mermaids are just like human females. The only difference between male and female mermaids is that male mermaids have pearls, while female mermaids are born without pearl. Because of this, female mermaids only live for 25 years. However, if they want to extend their life, they need a male mermaid's pearl. Specifically, a male mermaid who is in love with someone and whose pearl is red. This is the reason why Misbah wishes that Zee and Mian must fall in love with each other, and Mian can extend her life. Then we see Jism bringing food for Misbah. To distract Jism, she sits on his lap and starts flirting with him. This makes Jism very uncomfortable. He then says, I think I should leave now. You eat the food and go to sleep. Saying this, he leaves. Misbah becomes very happy and convinced that Jism likes her. Here we see Zee and Mian on a date. She is very impressed with the beautiful arrangements. Then, they go for a walk, where Mian suddenly gets dizzy and faints. Zee brings her back to the homestay, and Song was watching all these. They call Misbah to check on Mian. Misbah tells them that Mian's body is weakening due to the staying out of the water for too long. She urges them to quickly take Mian and sit her in water. Zee takes Mian to the pool. while Song is watching them again. As soon as Song sees the mermaid's tail, he gets shocked and faints. Upon waking up, he realizes that Ziyi is a mermaid. Later, Misbah talks to the Mermaid brothers saying we have to transfer the pearl from Myeon's body as soon as possible. But the pearl need to turn red. We need advice from an experienced person. Then they say maybe uncle knew something about this. We will go and bring him. As two brothers went to bring their uncle, Misbah makes drinks for herself and Jism and mixes something into Jism's drink. She offers the drink to Jism, who says, I am a mermaid and have never had anything other than water. Misbah convinces him to try it. Jism drinks the entire drink at once. Misbah warns, drink slowly, this is not water. After drinking, Jism falls unconscious right there. Misbah says maybe this is our last meeting and when you wake up, you may hate me very much. She then kisses him. Misbah walks out and calls her men, who kidnap Ziyi and Myeon. After those people leave, Song enters the homestay. He looks at Jism and says mockingly, now watch how I take my revenge on you. Meanwhile, Misbah has kidnapped Myeon and Ziyi. When both of them regain consciousness, they ask why they have been locked up. Misbah explains everything and tells Ziyi, I only need your pearl to stay alive. Ziyi replies, so that's why you approached me. Misbah admits, yes, exactly for that reason. Then she adds, listen Ziyi, you only have two options. Either kill me or kill yourself. If you kill yourself, your pearl will naturally come out of Myeon's body. I promise that once I get the pearl, I will spare Myeon's life. Myeon pleads with him not to do anything. Despite Myeon's repeated pleas, Ziyi injures himself with a knife. As soon as he does, the pearl inside Myeon starts glowing red but quickly turns blue again. At this point, Misbah says, now I've changed my mind. I'll kill Myeon as well. She is about to attack Myeon when Ziyi shouts loudly. His pearl glows red again and it naturally comes out of Myeon's body. Misbah picks up the pearl and becomes extremely happy. Seeing Ziyi's condition, Myeon starts crying. Since Ziyi is only injured and not completely dead, Misbah's men ask her, what should we do with them? Should we finish them off? Misbah looks at both Ziyi and Myeon and says, let them go. But just then, Song enters the scene and says, no one is going anywhere. He then calls Jism inside, saying to Misbah, I have another surprise for you. Seeing Jism, Misbah is utterly shocked. Song snatches the pearl from her, accusing her, you betrayed me and deceived all of us. Then he says to everyone, I have found that all of you are mermaids. He turns to Misbah and says, you went through so much trouble just to get this pearl. Hearing this, Jism questions Misbah, is Song telling the truth? But Song silences everyone and approaches Myeon. He says to her, you broke up with me for a fish, right? Now watch what I do with it. He takes everyone outside and says to Myeon, you would do anything for Dahi, right? Then give up your homestay for his life. Without thinking, Myeon agrees and transfers ownership of her homestay to Song. However, Song mocks her, saying, you'd do anything for him, right? Then do one more thing for me. He grabs Ziyi and throws him into the water. Even though Ziyi is a mermaid, due to the effects of injury, he starts drowning. Song then provokes Myeon. Oh, I almost forgot that you're hydrophobic. You can't jump into the water because you're scared of it. But Myeon, without hesitation, jumps into the water to save Ziyi. The hired goons who came with Song commented, you said you only wanted to scare them, but now you're taking their lives. We don't want to be involved in all this. Disgusted, they leave the scene. Song becomes furious and he goes to Misbah. He says, because of you, I lost everything. He is about to hurt Misbah, but Jism frees his hands and hits Song. This causes Song to fall, and the pearl falls out of his pocket. Misbah quickly picks up the pearl and shows it to Jism, saying, look, I got the pearl. Jism responds, yes, this is essential, and without it, mermaids cannot survive. Misbah adds, yes, and without it, even I won't survive. She tells him how hard she worked to get this pearl. Jism then suggests, why don't you return Ziyi's pearl and take mine instead? My pearl is red. Misbah questions, how is your pearl red? Before Jism can reply, they see that Song has regained consciousness. Song tries to stab Jism with a knife, but Misbah moves Jism aside, and he ends up stabbing her instead. Right at this moment, the police arrive and capture Song. Meanwhile, Myeon pulls Sahi out of the water. Misbah is critically injured and on the verge of death, returns the pearl to Ziyi. Jism pleads with her, Take my pearl. It's red and it will heal you. Misbah says, even if I weren't injured today, I would still die because I'm about to turn 25. She then asks Jism, why is your pearl red? Do you truly love me? Jism replies, yes, I do. Please take my pearl. He even asks Uncle to transfer his pearl to Misbah to save her life. But Misbah refuses, saying, no, keep your pearl with you and promise me you'll live well. With that, Miss Paya dies, and the drama ends here. Did you like the drama? Please let me know in the comment section and please like the video. Bye-bye.